Hey guys, this is Sam Helix, and today we're going to talk about record labels. So for today's video, I thought it would be interesting to go over the pros and the cons of signing a track to a record label. And yes, I said sign a track to a record label because artists themselves almost never get signed to record labels nowadays, especially in dance music. In pop music, you see this a lot more, and especially with bigger record labels like Sony, Warner, stuff like that, you see artists getting signed. But with small independent labels, for instance in the electronic music industry, there's a lot of small labels that don't sign artists, but they just sign one song. And getting your song signed to one of those labels has a ton of advantages. But it can also have some risks or disadvantages or things you gotta look out for. So today we're gonna go over the pros and cons of signing a track to a record label. So let's start with the pros. So the very first advantage of signing a track to a record label would be that you don't have to handle your own distribution. And with this I mean a record label makes sure that your song is not only on SoundCloud, which you can easily do yourself, or YouTube, but they also make sure it's on bigger streaming platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, and even Shazam. Of course, you can do this by finding a distribution website yourself if you're not signed with a label, but it's gonna cost you some money. And I'm gonna actually make a video soon about those distribution websites and how to get your music on Spotify. So yeah, label's gonna pay for it, so that's a pretty big advantage, right? So the second big advantage of signing a track to a record label is that they basically have a fan base and they promote your track for you. With this I mean is that they just put it out on all their socials, they put snippets on their Instagram stories, stuff like that to get people hyped for the track. And this can work very well because labels have their own kind of fan base, you know? There's a lot of record labels with their own kind of fan base, like Stamped Records, Hexagon, stuff like that. Those labels really have people who listen to every single release on the label. So if you do manage to get on one of those labels that actually have a fan base, part of that fan base is going to transfer over to you. So people who will listen to all those tracks are actually going to follow your socials, so you grow your network that way. Sometimes with some bigger record labels, they actually have a budget for promotion of your track. So they're actually going to spend money on social media and on blogs and stuff like that to get your track promoted, which is even better because it reaches even more people, of course. Promoting your tracks yourself can cost a lot of money, especially if you want it on some bigger websites, some bigger blogs. Believe me, I tried it and it costs a lot. So for a record label to arrange this already is a huge help in stepping up your promotion. The third advantage is pretty much that most labels have like a distribution circle. And with this I mean is that when you have a track that's gonna come out, a few weeks before they send it to a lot of DJs and other producers. If this track is really good, the DJs and producers are gonna play this music and they're gonna support it before the song comes out. This generates a lot of hype around your track, and once it drops, it immediately gets like a boost in plays and engagement. So that is obviously super awesome. To already have this kind of boost in plays actually shows other people that you're an established artist almost. So these distribution circles are really going to help you as an artist to grow and to get more DJ gigs, which is awesome because that is the main way you're going to be able to sustain yourself as an artist. So now let's get on to the cons of record labels. The most disadvantages or things you should look out for are contractual with record labels. For instance, I've heard of people who just signed a record deal and they had to make like 10 albums, which takes like 10 freaking years with one label, because this absolutely sucks. You kind of want to build it up from a smaller to a bigger label until you're signed to the label you want, or until you can start your own label, because that in turn is going to allow you to be able to sustain your musical career. So the first thing is you're always going to want to read your contracts really well and make sure someone reads it who studied law and knows something about contracts, because that is really going to help you. So one of the cons with signing with a label is that you're going to lose some of your rights. So you may or may not know this, but whenever your music gets played on TV, on festivals, but also on Spotify, stuff like that, you are going to make money basically. And the label takes a part of that money because they are the one distributing it and they are the ones who sign the rights. So for most small independent labels, they're going to take 50% of the royalties and you're going to get 50% yourself, which is quite okay. It's not too bad. Because bigger labels, they take 90% or something, and you only get 10. But on the other side, they have a larger network, so you'll get more plays and more money in general. So another thing with record labels is that they choose when your song gets released, especially when they have a certain schedule, like every first Monday of the month a track comes out or something. Signing a track now doesn't mean it gets released next week. For some record labels, this is negotiable in the contract, but for a lot of record labels, it's just this is when your track's gonna come out and just deal with it. This could mean that you as an artist have like 4 months of no tracks coming out. This can be kind of difficult because you want to keep being consistent and you want to keep push out tracks. So yeah, those are the major things you should look out for record labels, the pros and the cons. What do you guys think are the pros and cons of signing to a record label, and have you ever been signed? Let me know down below in the comments. So yeah, last week we had another monthly masterclass with our platinum members. We went over my latest bootleg, so if you are interested in becoming a member, my Patreon is down below so you can check it out, see what it's all about, and see the perks you get. If you do want some free feedback and just some help in your general music career, there's also a link down below to my Discord. We have over 70 Discord members right now, so if you do want some help with your production, feel free to drop by and just hang out. Also, check out my socials right over here, and I'll see you guys in the next one.